Well, hello and welcome to another study of men and women of the Old Testament. We have been studying this for the last few weeks. We're ready to now talk about Joseph, and we're going to start with Joseph's father, Israel. And Israel loved Joseph more than all his other sons, Genesis 37 and verse 3. You might have remembered studying through these chapters in your own personal study, or maybe the congregation that you attended growing up, or whatever the case may be, the fact that the statement can be made that partiality is a huge problem in the book of Genesis. And it's also a huge book of family problems. And Israel loving Joseph more than all of his other sons certainly allowed for hatred to breed among his other children. Joseph was a son of Israel's old age, and Jacob made Joseph a coat of many colors and examples the problem of partiality, as we just mentioned a moment ago. And so we have to be careful when it comes to loving our children and love them equally. Brothers become jealous. And in the case of Joseph, it was no different. If you look at Genesis 37:25 through 30, they became incredibly jealous, even to the point that they thought about killing him. But instead, Israel's partiality toward Joseph caused his brothers to despise and sell him to the Midianites. And the Midianites took him from Palestine to Egypt and sold him to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. Now, let's talk about the idea that what they did after that, not the idea, but what they did after that was they made their father Israel believe that Joseph had been killed by a wild beast. Now, they allowed him to run with that assumption, but they played a role in that assumption being made by taking the coat of many colors and dipping it in blood and giving it to their father. Now, when we move on to Joseph in Egypt, we find that Potiphar placed Joseph in charge of his entire household. In fact, Potiphar's wife was the only person that was not allowed to be under his charge and command, and was the only person kept back from Joseph by his own admission. But she repeatedly tried to seduce Joseph and finally accused him falsely, causing him to go to prison. Genesis 39:7 through 20. And then Pharaoh has a dream years later, and only Joseph was able to interpret this dream. Genesis 41. He declared the dream was revealed to him by God. And the details of the dream told of 7 years of plenty, where a lot of food would be there to be able to store up. And then there would be a 7 year period of famine. And Joseph explained a plan to Pharaoh to keep people fed. And he was put in charge of everything in Egypt, answering only to Pharaoh. Now, his brothers come, and he's reunited with them because Israel sent 10 of his sons to Egypt to buy corn during this famine. And Joseph recognized them as his brothers. Genesis 42 through 46, he tests them, he tries them, and even to the point where he tells them that Benjamin is going to be in danger of losing his life for thievery, even though Benjamin wasn't the one that had stolen anything. And they were able to reunite with the whole family. The story of Joseph ends in a sweet way, in that Joseph is reunited with his family, and then his two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, are blessed by Jacob. Genesis 48:8 through 20. The younger was placed over the older, and when Joseph died, his remains were to be taken back to Canaan for burial. Genesis 50:25 and Joshua 24:32. Let's look at the cards. We have cards 23 through 30 today, and we're going to begin with cards number 23 through number 26. Number 23, who was the favorite son of Israel, or Jacob? Well, it was Joseph, Genesis 37:3. Who sold Joseph into slavery? His brothers, Genesis 37:25 through 30. Joseph was cast into prison because why? Well, he refused his master's wife, Genesis 39:7 through 20. Joseph was removed from prison because he interpreted Pharaoh's dream, Genesis 41:1 through 37. Cards 27 through 30 says that Joseph was made a ruler of Egypt by Pharaoh, Genesis 41. He recognized his brothers when they came to Egypt, Genesis 42 through 46. What were the names of the sons Jacob blessed? The sons of Joseph that Jacob blessed were Ephraim and Manasseh, Genesis 48:8 through 20. And finally, card number 30, Joseph's bones were carried to the promised land by the children of Israel, Genesis 50 and verse 25, and Joshua 24:32. The life of Joseph is an astonishing one. There is so much that has happened and so much that takes place. And all throughout all of that horribleness that he went through, Joseph still says in Genesis chapter 50 that his brothers meant something for evil, but God meant it for good. And God saw him through. And he can do the same for you. I want to thank you so much for studying with us about Joseph. And Lord willing, next time we'll be together for a new character from the Old Testament.